Eadie Rider, sponsored by ABC Taxis, achieving best customer service.
The Darkness, probably the most well-known and successful band to come out of East Anglia, with such hits like I Believe in a Thing Called Love and Love Is Only a Feeling, each song with its own distinctive rhythm that made them the chart-topping hits that we know today. Now I'm off to meet Ed Graham, who is the former drummer of The Darkness, to talk about his new venture, and it isn't quite the distinctive rock you might be familiar with. Well, quite appropriately, we've come to the pub with some rock stars to do this interview. So thanks for joining me, Ed, Rebecca and Angus. We'll talk about the new band in just a little while, but we must just touch on The Darkness first of all. I know you're probably fed up of talking about it. But I've been looking at some photos today, and actually you're quite reserved in the way you dressed compared to the other boys. Did you feel that?
I don't think I ever had the physique for the catsuit, really. Yeah, I suppose I just did my own thing, and maybe I was a little less exuberant in the way I dressed than the rest of them, But
You had some huge hits with The Darkness. I mean, did that catch you by surprise a little bit? Because they kind of came out of nowhere, really.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. The thing with The Darkness is we actually were going for years, like about 3 years since the year 2000, and then 2003, all of a sudden. And the thing with The Darkness is we played the same set. We played the same songs, actually at the same place in Camden, at the Monarch, which is now the Barfly in Camden Town. And we played the same set once a month for about 3 years. And then all of a sudden, we were like hugely famous, But it kind of happened overnight and not overnight, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. And how did you take that? The whole kind of fame thing, was that easy to take? I mean, yourself as well. I mean, you're in big bands.
I mean, it's definitely, to go from being on benefits or doing whatever manual work you can do to just earn enough money to pay your rent, then to go from that to all of a sudden being rich is like. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a transition, It's, I think anyone would lose the plot a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm definitely, in The Darkness, I was very much the drummer in this band, a bit more than the drummer.
And talking about, you're called the Puppets to the Supreme Commander. I mean, Angus, tell us a little bit about that. Where did that name come from?
Well, it's a song title from my old band called Goyd, a song I'd written for my band. And that was inspired kind of by a composer called Arnold Schoenberg, who he says it's a gift from the Supreme Commander. If you get an inspired musical idea just pops into your head, unprompted by yourself, and it's really not you that's made it, it's just come in from somewhere. And this guy described that as a gift from the Supreme Commander.
Did you
have any other
sack
names?
a guitarist?
Yeah. There was,
You can't say that.
Well, that's true actually. There was this guy. I mean, he wasn't into our stuff at all. Well, so he said. I mean, he was a disco guitarist essentially, and he was very good. He was very talented. He was very, very, very technical. And he said, "Well, I'll play with you guys until you find a replacement. Are you ready?" So he helped us out, and he was great. A few months down the line, we find another guy who's a guy that we wanted, and I said to him, "Thanks, see you later." He goes, "What? So you're sacking me?" I goes, "Well, this was
offer your resignation.
This was the arrangement, right?" And he used to say to me just before that happened, I used to write a lot of the music and score it out, and I used to say, "This is your part." And then in the end, he said to me, "Look, mate, I'm not just a puppet and a muppet. All right?" And I goes, "We're all puppets to the Supreme Commander."
There you go. Well, you always hear about bands having musical differences, which is why they split up. If you've got lots of different genres within one band, who's going to take the lead on what you're going to play and how you're going to play it and which songs you're going to
Musical
record?
difference is just the line people use to say, basically, we all hate each other and you've completely ripped me off financially. So why have you split up? It's musical differences.
So
I don't think it actually exists.
Have you kind of both found that? And this is where the point you've come to in your lives, where actually you're doing what you want to do. Maybe the darkness for you is a little bit not quite what you wanted, and the same for you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm very proud of some of the work I did with the darkness, but yeah, this is, you know, I enjoy this music in a different way, I guess.
With your sort of Suffolk roots, then, whether there's football or not involved, are you blue or are you yellow?
I don't follow football at all, but all of my family are Norwich supporters.
Yes, we'll finish on that.
Eadie Rider, sponsored by ABC Taxis, achieving best customer service.